Hi, everybody, and welcome to Evolve Love. I am your host, Amanda, and I am so happy that you have found this podcast. Are you looking for daily inspiration, motivation, and wisdom to help you begin your day feeling supported and uplifted with love? Well, you have come to the right place. This podcast is a space of encouragement where you can be held in your self-development because in order to evolve, you need love, and it begins here with you. Now, let's get into today's episode. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Venus Day. I am so excited about today's episode. I think it is such a beautiful one, and I wanted to share it because Venus is our day of beauty, our day of creativity, and today's moon sign is in Virgo, and I felt so deeply rooted in this. I know that this week we've been talking about the concept of home base, and we've been talking even about the connection to our ancestral ties along with this. So I wanted to share a story with you and also a beautiful exercise that you may want to do, and it's one that I find myself falling into time and time again for different things, and I'm just really excited to share it with you. And it is not an idea that I made up, but I'm going to use it in the sense of, or I'm going to discuss it in the sense rather of ways that I've used this tool myself. So with today as a beautiful exercise that we can do, sometimes in our life, we may be looking for clarity and messages outside of ourselves that we can't really tap into, or that we can't tap into, I should say, without assistance. And this is a reason why I love oracle cards, because I feel that sometimes when I draw a card, there is a message within it that I wouldn't have been able to access without that first clue into it. And then I find myself deep diving and journaling and thinking more about the meanings of things. And so for me, that has always been such a beautiful tool. But this exercise is also a beautiful tool, and I'm going to sort of share how this has played out for myself in my life, because being a choreographer, I've actually used this as a tool in creating pieces, and some of them have been very heartfelt, beautiful, beautiful pieces, and so I'm very excited for this. So in general, I feel that there is such beauty and such wisdom in the words that we put out, whether they are through podcasts, through books, whatever means that you are using your words and putting them out there. They are inspiring others, and there is a world of possibility around the words that you share. And when I was listening to a podcast episode years ago, it was Sahara Rose's podcast. She talked about how she sometimes uses books as means of connecting intuitively to outside sources. So like, for example, she might open a book to a certain page in response to a question that she asks, and whatever is there on the page, she tries to connect meaning with. Sometimes she says that this is a way for her to channel and connect with ancestral energy. I don't necessarily have this connection with it. I go with it more so on the idea of inspiration. So with this exercise, what you do is you pull out a book that feels really important or that you feel really drawn to or called to on your shelf. And you may ask a question out loud. You may sort of just sense into a feeling. And as you do, just kind of like allow the pages to just roll through your fingers. And when you feel ready, you open the book. And the first thing you look at is supposed to be connected to what it is that you're looking for clarity on. And when I first heard about this, I felt so called to do it as a means of getting inspiration for choreography works that I was setting in a given year. And I had just finished reading a beautiful book by Katja Pansar, which is The Finnish Way. And The Finnish Way is a story about Finnish culture, the resilience, the sisu, like all of this. Like if you know of anyone who is Finnish, some of these words probably connect with you. But a huge part of my family is Finnish. And so I felt so drawn to this book. I really wanted to read it, and it was beautiful. I just loved so many parts of it. I felt connected to something deeper than I could explain, because though my family is Finnish, I've never been to Finland, and I've always felt so called to go there. Like the ancestral roots are so deep there. But with this book, I had just finished it. I was on vacation with my family in Vermont, and I was in this beautiful, like, woodsy area, and it just felt so right to be like, I'm going to find the page that is going to have the clarity for a piece that I'm going to be choreographing in this coming year. So I started thinking about, like, holding on to this book that had ancestral power to myself. I was like, okay, what piece am I meant to create this year? And as I was flipping through the pages, I opened it, and there was this incredible quote about looking up at the pines, looking up at the trees, and just noticing the sunlight as it comes through, and feeling that you are a part of something so much bigger than you realize. And I need to find the quote. So let's see. Okay, so the quote that I flipped to was, when you stand in the forest and look up at the trees, your own problems seem small. This was an incredibly eye-opening phrase for myself, because you also, if you're in the forest and you're looking at the trees, you think of, in the scheme of things, where you are in this world as a human being, and the problems that you have, they may feel all of a sudden so small or trivial compared to these trees that stand so grandly every day without falter. And I created this whole piece around this concept. I remember using like long skirts to help like kind of connect to this idea of movement around us, but still feeling so firmly rooted to where we stand. It was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. But with this whole concept, I wanted to share about it today, because maybe, I know like you might not be going off and choreographing a dance about it, but these images and thoughts might help you to find clarity in ways that you didn't realize you were needing. Like, I didn't know that I needed to hear that quote, but I did. I really needed to. So when you are looking at your shelf, is there a book on it that you feel connects richly to your family, your history, your home, any of the themes that we've been talking about today? And when you pull it off the shelf, like really holding it in your hands and just thinking about whatever it is that you're wanting to ask, flipping through the pages and see what comes up. Because I will ask you, like, do you feel a longing for a home that you don't quite remember? When you are in visual meditations, if you are asked to go to certain places or certain rooms or certain destinations, do you go to similar places? Do they look the same? Or do you find yourself maybe going to different places all the time? Because for me, when I go into my visualizations for years now, they have always been the same. So if I'm going to a room, depending on what the framework of the visualization is, a lot of the time it looks the same. If I'm going to a meadow, it looks the same. If I'm going to the coast, it looks the same. And so for me, it's like, why am I drawing up these places? And yet in my life, I've never actually been to these places. And for me, this was another key to think that these places, these visualizations, these home bases that I go to in meditation, they stand for something much bigger than I can start to explain. So with this, using these as tools and hints, whether it's the book you pull off your shelf, whether it's the meditation that you're doing, whether it's this feeling that you have, these are all hints towards the home base that your soul is craving. And when we think about home, we think about words like safety, security, space for growth, comfort, and exactly what this podcast is. In order to evolve, you need love. So it's also about love, self-love, love for others, love that is given back to you so that you as a being are able and supported to evolve and to grow in and with love. So I just wanted to share this exercise today because I gained so much from this, and I'm hoping that you do too, because I know a lot of the time we'll jump to a oracle deck or speaking with a friend, but maybe there's a book on your shelf that has a message waiting for you that you need to open and you need to read and connect with. And if anything, it's a fun and kind of like deep diving type of exercise to open a book like this and to check it out. So I hope today's exercise inspires you. And I'm so excited to check back in with you next week. Next week, our newsletter launches for the start of Leo season. So if you haven't already subscribed, check out the link in my bio on my Instagram at _evolvelove. And I'm so grateful to you for being here. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I'm looking forward to talking with you next week.